2024. We set a target of 2 million tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka by end of December 2024, and it was later revised to a very positive number of 2.3 million. And we crossed the mark of 1 million tourist arrivals by end of June. It was at 1.1 million towards the end of July. And it shows how much the tourism industry has been growing since the pandemic situation in the country and after the crises that the country went through back in the years. Now, that growth would not have been possible if not for every stakeholder of the tourism industry, and that's why it is important that those efforts of those very individuals are being recognized. And hence, ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka Tourism Awards 2024, which is the 7th edition. Now, there's different categories and different mechanisms of how each individual and stakeholders will be awarded, and now it's about unveiling and detailing out of how this process is going to happen. And to do the honors of that, I invite to the lectern, Mr. Upali Silva, Consultant, Tourism Awards. A round of applause.
Good morning. I'm Mohan. Let me start with giving you tracing back the history of tourism awards. We initiated up to about 2007. There was no award scheme in Sri Lanka, although we had in the other countries in our region. We never had an award or recognition of excellence in Sri Lanka by the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, or the Ceylon Tourist Board by then. It was a decision made in 2006 to have an award to recognize the excellence of the tourism industry stakeholders, and launched in 2007. From 2007 up to 2012, it was in the calendar of events, and we had it in successive years. And then 2008 was the last award that we had. Since then, there has been a gap of about 6 years. So we are here back again, because with the revival of tourism industry, as he explained to you, we have now seen the progress in tourism industry, and also the stakeholders' contribution that they have made towards that. So with that, it was their commitment, contribution, and their dedication to excellence that made the stakeholders important to the industry, and therefore we have decided to relaunch the awards, to Sri Lanka Tourism Awards, this year as well. Based on 2023 performance, 2024, by end of this year, we will have the award ceremony, hopefully by December, mid-December. Now we have done the criteria, we have actually revised the criteria, we have added on few new categories to recognize. There are recognition awards. Apart from that, there are also awards for specific fields. Now, for example, to give you just an example, the contribution made by the youth to Sri Lanka tourism is also going to be recognized this year. Apart from under the general awards, we are also going to recognize the student contribution to Sri Lanka tourism. We have also added on new categories like cruise line operations to Sri Lanka, airline operations. We already had the airline operations, but it was only Sri Lankan Airlines. And this year we are also going to recognize the other airline contribution, which is the scheduled airlines, as well as the charter operators. Cruise line operation has never been taken into consideration as a contributor to tourism, whereas this year we are going to recognize them as well. Apart from that, there are also individuals who are Sri Lankan origin or either born and bred in Sri Lanka, but they have also made contributions and got international awards in various fields, particularly in the field of hospitality and tourism. Now, for example, as you all know, recently we had a person who was one of the torchbearers of Olympics. He is the person, he is a baker who has developed a bakery item which is supposed to be the best and used by the French presidents for his breakfast as well. Similarly, there are others who have also, there is a lady who has also won an award, third prize for culinary achievements in Australia. Those are also going to be recognized. Let me now take you through a brief presentation on how this is going to be rolled out in 2024 so that you will know, you will spread the word around to especially the colleagues from the industry who are here, and we will have more industry stakeholders participating this year. You have these are the excellence that we are going to reward. And youth contribution, as I explained to you, this is the descriptor is self-explanatory, so that will show you who is going to be eligible for this category of awards. And this is also a new on our inventory this year. It's going to be integrated digital marketing campaign for hospitality travel-focused apps, enterprise management systems. We already have this, we have this in hotels and travel sector, whereas it has not been recognized before. Then under miscellaneous tourism-related technologies, also there is category that they can apply to, and their performance will also be evaluated. This is also another new category where Mr. Ratnayaka, our Deputy Director General, is in charge of. We have already given, there is already certification system for this hotels and SME sector, whereas the other two sectors are also coming into this equation now with the tourism awards. Sorry, under general awards, we have tourism legends. This is the first category of awards. We have legends and pioneers and entrepreneur of the year, tourism entrepreneur of the year. As I explained to you earlier, the youth contribution to tourism, there are two categories, age 19 and 20 to 30. These awards they don't have to apply for the awards. These will be considered by a panel based on what contributions they have made. We have a way of finding it out, and they don't have to make submissions. This will be done by the SLTDA, by a panel appointed by the SLTDA. Then international awards, as I explained to you earlier, is also it's based on their awards that they have won, and because we believe that the tourist decision making of coming to a destination sometimes are influenced by these achievements made by the Sri Lankans in the field of hospitality, culinary art and tourism. Then we start the classified areas of the categories. tourist hotels, we have taken into consideration star classified hotels, and we also have the heritage hotels like Goldface, similar hotels like Mount Lavinia, and we also have Ayurveda hotels which are dedicated for practicing Ayurveda. We have tourist hotels and other accommodation, unique accommodation, boutique hotels and boutique villas. As you know, this is a special category which is rather new to Sri Lanka. And we now have quite a number of boutique hotels around the island. So we also have to recognize them, and in order that they can promote their hotels. Supplementary tourist services and accommodation, we have homestays and bungalows. That is a category which supplements the main accommodation sector we already have. And homestays is now being widely recognized as the base for tourists to get a cultural experience when they come to a country. Then you have eco and wildlife. These two categories were already there. We have under the specified tourist services, we have West Spa and Wellness Center, water sports centers or providers, adventure tourism promoters and or providers. There are some who actually do the promotion and provide the experiences in adventure, but there are others who only does the promotion, which are travel agents. Sustainable tourism practices, as I told you, that this is a new category where there is already a system of certifying them done by the tourist board with the assistance of GST. And then we have the tourist restaurants, themed restaurants and authentic Sri Lankan restaurants. Where now you know there is a brand called what do you call it, Muridas's restaurant, Ministry of Crab. Ministry of Crab is a brand which is now not only in Sri Lanka, but you also find them in Middle East and in Maldives. So therefore we have to recognize them because they also, by popularizing the Sri Lankan cuisine and this brand, we also get country promoted as a destination. Under the travel and tourism operator category, we only recognize the inbound tour operators, and we have large, medium and small category. This is based on, generally it's based on the volume and the revenue that they have earned. Then destination loyal partner is a foreign tour operator. Now, for example, if you take a foreign operator who has been loyal to the destinations by producing the largest number of tourists to the destination, they are being recognized through the local handling agent as our destination loyal partner. This is the other new category that I mentioned to you earlier about the airline contribution. Now, other than the chart operators, as you all know, we also have the scheduled airlines operating to Sri Lanka. There are several of them who also contribute to a large extent for tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka. Now, those will be recognized and they will be felicitated and awarded with an accolade at the next in December when we have the award ceremony. You have cruise line operators. This is a category which has never been recognized as a contributor to the destination earlier, although they have made a sizable contribution. So we are going to recognize them. We already have they have the data collected by the Research and International Affairs Division through the Civil Aviation Department and the Port Authority as to how many tourists they have brought to Sri Lanka and the revenue that we have earned through the local handling agent. Then we have MICE tourism. Under MICE tourism, we have the venue. There is an award for the venues contribution, and then the conference hotels and other venues, because there are also venues in hotels and there are also independent venues which have to be recognized because they also participate in MICE tourism. This is another category, as I told you, which is added on this year. Integrated marketing. We already had conventional marketing awards given for conventional marketing, whereas this year we have expanded on that, and we will have the IT contribution to promotion by the stakeholders. Tourism education and training, it was predominantly handled by the government because we had a Ceylon Hotel School earlier, but now there are several institutions, private institutions which are offering programs in hospitality. Therefore, we are going to consider only them, not the government institution, but whereas there are private institutions which are contributing to this, so we will only consider them this year. Then, under the services category, we have the guide lecturers, sofa tourist guide lecturers, and outstanding culinary contribution made by the hotels. Best conservationist or naturalist. This can be a team or individual award. That's about all as far as the categories are concerned. Then you have the procedure. We have opened the application. The application will be opened on the 15th of this month and closed on the 15th of following month. And we will also have an extension given to them if they are not able to make their submissions by end of next month 15, then they will get an additional extension of 1 week, that is 22nd of August. By then, if the submissions are not made, we will not entertain applications afterwards. And there is, of course, an additional fee of 5,000 rupees charged as a late submission fee. Now, as I mentioned earlier, applications for the individual categories are either by self or by nomination. That is for the entrepreneur. Very often, the applications for these categories, entrepreneur is sometimes made by self, and then others will be individual categories like the other two categories I mentioned earlier. They will be by application, either nomination or application. It's mostly by nomination. It is mandatory for all applicants or submissions, whoever who make some institutions or individuals who make some individuals, it doesn't apply to, but the institutions have to be registered and licensed with the tourist board, and they should have been in operation at least 2 years prior to the date of application, because we also have to go through their financial records. So they should have been, they should be able to submit audited accounts for the preceding year if they are going to make the applications for this. And then you have the application can be downloaded from the website www.tourismawards.lk, and you will have the information available to you with regard to the category that you applied for, and also for the criteria. If you want to go through the criteria is also there. So it is explained in detail as to how the application should be made. And all those details are mentioned in the website. So you can go through the website and see if you need any clarification. You are free to call. We give you the contact numbers of the person at the SLTBA. Anytime, feel free to contact them. This is further information when you make the submission, information that you need to provide. You have a checklist. When you send it, it has to be sent along with the checklist to make sure that you have submitted all documents and whatever else that has been asked for, in order to make sure that the application that your submission you made is complete. And I will go take you through this flow chart to explain to you about the judging process. There are of course the dates of applications that you have made, submission of applications, and once the applications are made, that will go, the applications will go through a process of judging. There are panels appointed for each of these categories, major classified categories, and those professionals who are independent, we will not appoint people with vested interest to serve on these committees, and they will have an independent. There will be about 7 in each committee, and they will go through your submissions and then make sure that there is always clarity in your whatever we do with regard to the clarity and transparency with regard to the judging process. And the preliminary finalists will be selected by the evaluation committees. And once the preliminary finalists are selected, they will go to the next stage of judging by the jury. Before the judgment is made, the audit will come in. Auditors, there are independent auditors appointed. They have a role to play as well. At the initial stage, they go through the submissions before they are open to make sure that they have not been tampered with and their applications have been made according to the requirements mentioned therein. And then we will select the finalists. Out of those finalists, they will have the grand jury will make the final decision, which is going to be the final, and there won't be any once the auditing, in between there is auditing coming in, so to make sure that everything is being done transparent, and we will have the awards hopefully in December once the process is done with. That is all about the process. If you have any questions, maybe you open the floor for questions. There is a request to summarize what we said in Sinhala, so to go through it again later, maybe.